I have here a nice Harley Davidson. I just jacked it up actually. It's been standing on the side stand for a little while, and what happened after a little while, the suspension shock absorbers on the rear side, actually on the right side, started leaking a little bit of hydraulic oil, and normally you don't see that. In this case I didn't see it in time either. That actually resulted in the hydraulic oil going down overhead the strut, basically also where the nut goes through the wheel, and then it was dripping down on the tire, resulting in a mishap on the tire as well, meaning that it's actually being soft on the sidewall, that actually also creating a hazard. So I just want to show you what I did with a quick fix. It's about 3 months ago since I repaired it, and it works really well. This is the cheap way of doing it. Here we are below the bike itself, and as you can see on the sidewall, it's actually completely upright right now, so you don't see it as bad. But if you look at the sidewall there, you can see it's swollen up, and this is what comes out of it. I'll see if I can get it close to the camera here, and there you should be able to see it. It's swollen up right there as it comes through, and that actually makes it a little bit of a weak spot. It's got two, one here and then a bigger one over there, because I moved it slightly as I was standing here hoping that it was going to disappear, but it doesn't. So not only does it cost a strut, but it also cost, or shock absorber, but also costs a new tire and mounting and balancing and everything else. That can be quite expensive. Plus your brake pads, if you have running down overhead your disc as well, which is here in this location as well, it can be quite costly. So therefore this is an idea to get it all sorted out. First, of course, you got to get into the problem. This is on the left side, so I took both of them off because I wanted to go service both shock absorbers at the same time. So we'll have to remove the side backs first, and then after that we're actually closer to it and we can go ahead and work with the shock absorbers. I'll show you on the left hand side here how I did this. Now here we are, side backs are now removed, and this is on the left hand side. Here we can see it's actually an Oleo inside of it, so you got the springs inside, but you also got air which is charged over here according to the manual, also according to the specifications of course, and that actually leaves you a little bit of air coming this way, and then there's also hydraulic fluid inside of it, and this is the absorbers that actually starts leaking. Then once it starts leaking, it normally will come out down here in the bottom, and you will see small droplets actually coming down, and you'll find a little bit of residue of hydraulic oil underneath the rear part of the bike. That actually is soluble in the tire, and that's the problem with it. It actually weakens the tire as well as you drive. Anyway, this oil is also, of course, depending on whether or not you're driving in cold temperatures or hot temperatures. Where I'm at here, it's really warm, and by standing they actually deteriorate slowly. So in this case, to drain everything out, I took all the different fittings off here as well, and then I drained it for the hydraulic fluids in. I want to change and make the maintenance on it. They're about $200 or a little bit more maybe, to get a new one from Harley, and I thought that was too good to change already, because it hasn't driven that much. It's got about 20,000 miles on this bike, about 19,000 something, and they should be working for longer anyway. So what it was, I emptied out all the hydraulic oil in there, and then I was looking for a solution, and the solution comes here. After taking the the plug out of the shock absorber and emptying everything else, I bought myself a nice handy vacuum pump. You can use to bleed brakes and everything else with, so it's got multiple purposes, and you basically, it functions the way that you pump it over here, and then you actually pump in a vacuum. You fill in the new fluid in this little container over there, and of course it has to be to the specifications according to your manual. And then basically after you have drained the shock absorber itself for what was in there, for the residue, then you take this off, of course, and you put in the nozzle here, pump a vacuum inside of this one, and then once you have the vacuum nicely done in here as well, then you basically open up the screw, and it actually sucks the fluid straight back into the shock absorber, and then after that you're fine. Now the fluid I put in there is of course not the same as the one that was in, because that was actually leaking. So in order to stop the leak, I was going to try the stop leak that you can get in different auto part stores. and I was gonna go for the same as is in the jag oil stop leak, and it repairs jacks and everything else, and in this case it actually repaired the Harley as well. It has now been running for 3 months and it's not dripping anywhere, and it works absolutely perfect. I'm gonna run it for another couple hundred miles, and then we'll have to go ahead and inspect it one more time, but so far it is not leaking anymore on either side. So I got a little bit more mileage out of it, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Ride safely out there, and take care of each other. I hope you enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe. The next one is going to be interesting as well, I hope, and then I will see you in the next video.